What's up, legends? Welcome to Blindside's Round 7 TLT buy, hold, sell breakdown. It's kind of where we're at. We're going to do things a little bit differently today too, guys, where we're going to go through just one opinion from each of us in the TLTs to really hyper-focus on where we think the value is across the team list, rather than just breaking down the team list and dragging a podcast out for an hour and 20 minutes like we've done in recent weeks. So we'll transfer to where we're kind of all sitting and what trades we're looking at doing this week. I'm at in the top 1,100 now. So I'm making climbs each week, which is positive for me. And this week, I'm only looking to 2 trade in a week where I think a lot of people will be 3 trading. And it's Makasini and Chan out for Smith and Nari Tuala at this stage. But I can still very much easily move into Teddy. So I'll move to you guys first. Whatever one of you wants to stand up and has the balls to try and challenge my trades this week, you're more than welcome. But where are you sitting? Where are you sitting rank-wise? And what trades are you looking to make this week?
So I'm now sitting at 8,800. Not the best, but yeah, I'm still kind of making some moves. A few players kind of went against me last week, and that Kraz hold has been tough. But I'm hanging on. Trade-wise, I'm looking at either 2 or 3 because I've been able to save some trades throughout the first part of the season so far. Basically, I'm still looking at shoring up my winger fullback and looking at hooker coverage this week. So I'm now on the building phase toward Origin. As much as I would love a Trailmit or others, I'm not grabbing them because other people, with that sort of arrogant tone to be able to bring them in are going to struggle, with yet another trade.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll see.
6-week rental?
Yeah. I said it was a 6-week loan.
I actually made a couple of ranks last week. Look, I'm just trying to crack the top 10K. It seems like it's just been impossible the past 3 weeks, just with like some decisions that I've made. In fairness, I've done pretty well to be able to counteract that. So I'm at 10,150. And trades this week, I am doing 3. It's my narrative every single season. I go hard and heavy to start with, and then come Origin when I've got everything laid out and planned out. That's when I reel back. So
that's when you theoretically think you reel back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said this last year and it didn't happen.
Look, it'll happen. You're the kind of coach that'll either win or you'll lose. There's no in between.
No, it'll happen this year though.
What trades are you looking to make?
I'm not going to give too much away.
Oh, he's gatekeeping.
Yeah, I'm not going to give too much away. Let's just say I'm potting up this week.
Oy.
Nice. Boys, I think the strategy is obvious. We've spent the first part of the season buying cashies, then the 3 major guns, then foundational pieces. Now we need to start taking advantage of pod plays and key positions that give us optimal buy coverage. And for coaches that kind of understand or don't really understand the strategy move, the strategy now is an Origin preparation, buy all the Origin players you possibly can. It's a very steady growth because once you start moving towards pods, every single pod is a risk. There's a reason why they're low ownership. So if you start spreading into multiple of those every single round, you're actually increasing your chances of bad outcomes. So you just want to steadily focus on where the best pod value is. Take slow punts in each direction. Again, me, Kenty, and Browny will have different takes on how this actually manifests. This is my opinion anyway. And from there, you can go...
Let's just say one coach here doesn't necessarily take the slow
approach. Yeah. End up, please. Yeah. And then my thing is that if I can go, say, for an Inari Tuala this week, I've got early Origin round buy coverage, center wing, fullback, DPP update. That's appealing to me. We've got Jacob Carraz losing price, who I'm actually really keen to jump on when he floors in his price point. That gives me another one.
Bro. You just got to pick him up. You just got to trade him in. You don't have to jump on him.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick him up, man.
I'll think about pulling him in, but you guys are thinking about pulling him off your team. So, we'll maybe just move on from that. Anyway, so the plan is like slow and steady because there's 2 benefits to this play. You mitigate your risk of poor outcomes and you save trades. And that's what's most important heading into the Origin period is making sure you don't gash your trades too soon. Sorry, Browny. I'm realizing everything I'm saying is completely against the grain of what Browny believes. So that's my take. What do you guys think the strategy is moving into Origin?
My strategy is, and it always is, trade hard and heavy to start with so you get the right guys. But it's around this time and next round where you start bringing in guys for coverage for Origin. And that's what I've started to do this week with some pods. it's just going to be rounds ahead where I'm going to 2-trade, 3-trade possibly to try and get the right guys in, fill out that good span from rounds 12 to 15. And that's when I can reel back and really just conserve my trades at that point, when people are still going to be trying to fill that void of, I need another winger fullback for round 12. I need another half or something like that for round 12. I'll have all that stuff figured out by then.
And that's what's important, isn't it? It's about the reason why we're starting to plan now is to mitigate as much of that in origin period navigation as possible, to more or less just like an injuries happen and now we need to fix it. And if we can just do slow and steady stuff there now, what that means is that we're going to find value in players now that are cheaper than where we foresee them to be. It increases your team value at a point of the season where the wrong thing to do is buy foundational players. So like, okay, I'm in a position where I could go James Tedesco at winger fullback now. Great buy. I don't have anything against him at all. But that will mean I have Turbo, Latrell, and Teddy at winger fullback, which looks dominant on paper. But one thing that it doesn't do is continue my cash gen. So I'm much more beneficial going towards an Inari Tuwala, who gives me more spare salary in the bank so that I can spread around more pod risks. And he has cash gen potential. And I think this is where coaches will get stuck, because if you didn't focus in the third phase of the plan or the strategy in buying your foundational players before this round, you're effectively going to start buying them now. And every single time you bring one of those players in, your cash gen stunts in a period where we're all going to be looking to continue making that cash gen. I think we've all played it well and we've all got different ways of doing it. And I will add in there, you guys are like, oh, I'm at 10,000, that's a bad rank. I'm at 8,000, that's a bad rank. Let's just think about this across the landscape. 10,000, 8,000, and 1,000 are brilliant rankings. But it doesn't matter what season you're playing. Plus, our best period of the season is Origin. So once we hit the Origin period, our planning is going to rise all of our ranks. And I think that's one thing coaches will really need to look at us for in 2026, is that how Browny, Kenty, and myself play the Origin period from now until round 19 is exactly why we perform high in the rankings every year. It's because we know how to play this phase of the year. So let's go into the buy, hold, and sell part of our team list narrative. First game is Cowboys and Eagles. Now, a big talking point to start off with here is Scott Drinkwater, and Brownie and I are head-to-head on this. Brownie says Scotty Drinkwater as a buy. I think he is risky. I understand the buy narrative, but I'm actually leaning more towards avoid. Now, my reason on the avoid trade for Scott Drinkwater, I will just overlay what I'm about to say with the fact I've owned him for 2 past seasons, and I've always bought in at a time that looks nice, and then he bites me in the ass and ends up tanking. So my rule has just become with Drinkwater, I will only buy him under 620K from round 12 onwards. And then you ask yourself this question, why are you looking at Scott Drinkwater outside of recent performance and the price point that he's currently at? It's because he doesn't play Origin. So if he doesn't play Origin, you're then asking yourself, well, what rounds does he cover over Origin? He misses round 15 and round 18, the last 2 major buys, which 12, 15, 18 are the hardest buy rounds to cover because the most teams are on a buy. So I actually don't see much value in a Drinkwater play this week. If you happen to be a coach that got on 2 or 3 weeks ago, well done. Like, you're winning. There's no reason to get off. But if you're a coach looking to buy in now, I think it's more or less akin, like we talked to before recording, of buying Tom Jenkins last week. It's the same thing for me. And I'm not looking to buy in at a peak value price point. Even though he has the break even to justify more growth, I would much rather go to an Inari Tuwala, who is cheaper, puts more cash in the bank, and has the same value trajectory. What's your take, Brownie? You're the opposite side.
For me, it's the fact of, like, numbers don't lie. We've seen this form increase from round 3 when they versed the Titans, Storm, Dragons, and Broncos. So there's formidable teams in there that you could argue their form's been a bit down. But Drinkwater's been very, very prominent in the Cowboys' attack. And they're in this red-hot form at the moment. Their system, their spine, everyone seems to be clicking. Reid Marnie out, I think, is only just going to do him even better because of Sony Luke and his ability to get out of dummy half. From what I've seen from Drinkwater, he's passing the eye test. Involved with everything, he's getting tries, he's going for try assists. Granted, he did go for 5 offloads last game. That's something I don't think we've ever seen before. That's Terrell May-like kind of stuff. So, like, don't expect that.
Are you saying that Drinkwater is going to be the next Terrell May?
Definitely not. But look, that was like a bit of an outlier, but he just seems to be playing like I'm going to say a Trbojevic role, sweeping both sides of the field. He's linking up in good plays. He's solely based on attacking upside. They're versing the Seagulls this week, who aren't a perennial team. Like, they're not going to force anything back against the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. Then they got the Sharks, which you could argue could be a bit of a tougher matchup. The Bulldogs, who are coming into a bit of form again, but then they got the Eels, and then he has the Roosters, Rabbitohs, 11 and 12. So you could ride him all the way up to round 15 and then make you move off to, say, a James Tedesco, who doesn't play round 12. He's coming in this week with a 20 break even. If he scores a 53, he goes up another 35K, which pushes him close to 700. If that value kind of sticks for those weeks, he's still in that kind of market value where you can make an easy pivot when that round 15 buy does come.
Like, you make a good case for it. Kenty, what do you have to add here? Because one of the things we probably haven't covered a bit is that it is not goal kicking anymore. So it mitigates some of that base. But a lot of what Brownie's saying there does increase his prominence towards like a buy case. And I have my own reasons for why I'm not going there. But what do you have to add here? Like, what way would you be going?
What Brownie's said is what it gives you is a easier on-ramp to take the risk if you can see any risk. A lot of people can't see the risk. They just think he's killing it right now, and why wouldn't I get him? And I get that too. I think the key thing is when you dive into his stats, the thing that concerns me more out of any of the winger fullbacks is he had the most line breaks of any of the winger fullbacks over the course of about the last 3 matches, which is where he's gone really gangbusters. So line breaks lead to all sorts of crazy scores because you're going to get more meters, you're going to get more tackle busts, you're likely to get try assists, you're likely to get tries, all of those sorts of things. So your numbers absolutely rack up. But at some point, tackle busts dry up. Line breaks especially dry up. What I see is that, yes, he's been killing it. He's real cheap right now. But a lot of people are going to be jumping on thinking he's the second coming of Walsh, but he's not. And then how does he score? Because he doesn't have the base like you're saying. He doesn't have goal kicking. His kick meters are way, way down. They're only like in the 150s. And maybe that's indicative of the game as well. He didn't need to kick that much. They were running way more than they were kicking. But you know what I mean? So that's my concern, and that would be the only caveat that I would give. So I've got him more as like a risky buy watch more than I would an avoid.
I agree. I think that's the way to summarize it now. If you already own, we're not throwing shade on you guys. And
no way.
You've done well. It's just the idea of buying in now it's getting harder and harder to justify it each week. The reality is the play should have been to buy in when he was at his floor. But if we knew that answer for every single player, we'd all win fantasy every year. So it's hard to pick when these things happen. But I think we'll move into the next guy here, which I think is quite interesting. I've written this off in my brain, Ken.
Yeah.
Clifford as a tasty buy over the origin period. What's your take there?
We're going to need some halves. And right now, he's someone that I'm looking into. Now, I'm not saying go ahead and go buy him. You know me, I like to go and look for pods and try and suss them out and try and get them potentially earlier as players to watch at a deeper level rather than just going, oh man, they're playing really well. And Clifford at the moment, in the way he's scoring kind of very base level, which is what you want. And he actually looks like he's one of the most informed halves in the league. Look at him between himself and ICAT. Incredibly different. Like Clifford just looks like he's running free. He's got tons of momentum behind him. He's got tons of freedom, which is pretty crazy, where Katoa looks like he's second-guessing every single move he's making, and he's just doesn't look like that free player from last year. And so I start looking for halves that are running a whole bunch. Dewey's a classic. Clifford is another one. They're actually looking very, very similar. So I'm looking at halves that are in that sort of mode right now. And then in this next 6 weeks, I'm watching them really carefully, whether or not I'm making a play for them come round 10 or 11 for, the first buy.
Yeah, I like Jake Clifford. The idea of no Tommy did and kind of just, or of Origin, kind of just says to you that he's going to be probably holding more responsibility over that period. It's probably an argument for Scott Drinkwater as well, is that his in-play involvement will probably increase, which we didn't really touch on in the last breakdown.
The only downside is that they don't play the middle or last majors.
Yeah, whereas Katoa plays everything except the
first one. So basically the biggest strategy right now is sort out the best team you possibly can for round 12. And then see out of those ones too who you can kind of massage into at least the second major.
Gonna massage them into the major.
Yeah, bro.
Awesome. Yeah, no, but I agree to you too. And I think your point there about like watching them is that halves is important because none of them are screaming out as urgent investments. But what we will get to see is there any shift. Like ideally, we all want Katoa to hit form right around Origin time at 600K. That would be awesome. But right now, we're just kind of in that phase of watching. Well, moving into Seagulls, guys, I don't need to spend too much time on my guy. It's Tommy Turbo. Being a buy. We've kind of had him as a buy now for the last couple of weeks. He has very good next 2 games. But the real thing here is that I think his origin risk is a lot slimmer than what we've come to get used to in recent seasons, which is that Critter and Latrell look like the guys to go in to the centres with Casey McLean and Brian To'o as the wingers, is my guess. And then obviously Dylan Edwards at the back. It's not fixed. It's not certain. But based on form this year, I think the only reason why Tommy Turbo is going to get into that origin side over Critter is if Critter's injured. So I don't think Tommy Turbo is not an origin player. I think his risk is a lot lower than the likes of Latrell Mitchell or Dylan Edwards. And that's kind of why I was like, if I take the risk early, I get all this scoring in an easy schedule. And then if it doesn't work, well, he'll have a lot more value for me to move him into someone that is going to have that.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the reason for a buy in Tommy Turbo. But then we got the Olakau'atu one here for you, Kenty. I'll start on the other one first because it more mimics Tommy Turbo, and it's you, Brownie, with Kohler as a hold. I actually still probably think there's a use case for buy there as well if you're looking for a pod. It's not the best option on the market, but give us more on that, Brownie, like where you see Tolu Kohler.
When people bought him in last week, I think they were expecting another big score. I was hoping to see as well. It just didn't eventuate.
He was so close to that being a mid-40s to 50.
Yeah. Oh, man, that should have been a try assist.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't go forward. You could add that plus a line break onto that as well, a line break assist onto that as well. So the fact now that he's got the Cowboys and Eels the next 2 games, so that's why I'm saying, look, he's still got a very good schedule ahead. That screams attacking upside for him. It seemed last game they prioritized Garrick a bit more, like that right side attack. Look, I think you can see it kind of going both ways. If Kohler finds that space, he is that guy that can put up a 15, 20-point play. I think if you're an owner, you hold. If you're looking to buy, I think there might be better options on the market.
So Olakau'atu, Kenty, as a watch buy, what's your interest there?
I mean, you just have to see how the team is playing now under Foz. He's been an absolute revelation for the team. They clearly respect him. They clearly are playing a brand of league that they're all buying into. It looks like he has completely given that forward pack a massive free rein, obviously wanting them to run and attack a whole lot more. And out of any of the forwards, I think Olakau'atu is the one that's going to benefit the most, and we have been seeing that benefit. He's got a floor of 41, but then he has scored a 71 and a 53 back-to-back since Foz has taken over. Even when he was still, basically in a team that was looking dead and buried, he still basically had a 50s average. So when you compare him to all the other kind of top flight edges, he is still looking really good. He's still right up there as being pretty much an 80-minute edge. His missed tackles are the best out of all of them. That might be because his tackles are lower than most other edges as well at the moment, which is still mad. But
he did make 26 last week, which is better than his 6.
I don't believe it. Yeah, I don't
but
believe
he's making the most meters of any edge in the game right now. He's averaging 150, where the next best is Hudson Young on 138. He's only second for line breaks to Kaipies Pool, and as someone that is piquing my interest as a bit of a pod play, and over Origin could be very handy.
Do you think he could make Origin?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other problem that you have whenever we start talking about these types of players is, are they playing their way into a jersey?
Yeah. I think he's doing that.
The thing is he? Because he's still got to be that much better than Hudson Young, who was really only just breaking in from off the bench. Preston's arguably looking better than Olakau'atu. So I'd be backing Preston in, particularly last game against Panthers. I think Daly will be, licking his lips, thinking, yep, I'm keen on him.
I think you guys have to really think here outside of a Queensland brain and into a New South Wales brain.
So you just kind of like throw any old card out there and then,
Maybe just swap your squad around every single game. It seems to work for you.
I hate it. Like, I wish we thought more like you guys. We pick players on form. We put together a good team. But Daly likely won't pick Terrell May. I think he'll try and have all the best players on the field as opposed to the players that are in form. And I think people like Olakau'atu, Angus Crichton is out of form. He's going to get picked. Olakau'atu is going to get picked. I think Preston is probably a chance to break in, but likely won't get picked. I think people like Turbo are at risk of getting picked because they've been there before. Latrell, like we'll probably have a backline of like Latrell Mitchell, Dylan Edwards, Critter, Turbo, Casey McLean. Like I just don't like Laurie Daly's selections. And I don't think Olakau'atu's earned the jersey yet. I would not be surprised if just because he's been there before, he's going to get picked. Like we're going to pick Brian To'o and look how bad his stats have been. It's like, no, he's not one of the best wingers. So that's the fear I have, is that I think that the way Queensland play Origin, as much as I hate to say it, the way they select their teams and the way they play is the way it should be done. And Laurie Daly is not the coach that emulates that.
So I think my biggest thing is that he would be a player that I would throw in kind of come round 11. But I guess a lot of the players that I'm talking about today are ones that I'm got high interest in as, potential pivots. And just the fact that any Manly player, and there's not too many Manly players that I'd actually want, they only miss round 15. So they are a pretty killer team to target.
Yeah. It's pretty much Dolphins, Manly and Tigers have this unbeatable schedule this year. And plus, Manly players will be few and far between in ownership as well. So they'll actually not just be pods, they'll be ultra pods. It's a good thing to think here. And I think a lot of our list today, as we're going to keep going through, is a lot of it is watches and is pods, because we're at that point of the season now where it's all about who to buy and when. And if there's a watch, it's more or less because we need some more information, whether that's origin confirmation or form confirmation before we jump in. But you need a big watch list.
And Olakau'atu is 3.3 owned. So...
Whoa, really? He's more owned than Piss Paul.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
I think most people are scared of the round 12 buy for Tigers, and most of us already have 3 or 4 Tigers.
Well, let's move into Raiders and Storm, guys. Mine's pretty easy, so I'll just get it out of the way. It's a Noah Martin hold. Now, it looks obvious on the surface now. He's been named in the second row. But last week, there was a lot of chat around the fantasy community about getting out of him early. I thought it was a horrible play. There was even people talking about not scoring him last week in the Blindside Faithful because he'd been shifted to the bench. And the narrative was from Ricky Stewart that he's trying to protect his players and give them less minutes. And based on what Ricky Stewart said, you definitely were justified in the fear of going, maybe I shouldn't score him this week. But my reason for keeping him as a scorer, and he ended up getting 50, was that he's been statistically the best defensive player in that team. Once they started losing a few points, it was get him straight back on and secure that side. And then the Raiders ended up doing instantly better. So I think what Ricky Stewart's trying to do this year is, instead of giving the big guys a rest with 2 or 3 rounds left before finals time, he's trying to introduce a system whereby it's done throughout the year to protect his players and to give other people a go on their feet and a bit of experience, which I think is a better strategy as a coach. But it gives me no fear in Noah Martin. For now, Noah Martin's break-even is still achievable. He's still got money to make. He's still scoring well. He's named to start this week. I have no interest in getting off him at all. I'm just going to keep holding it until he actually gives me a Joe Chan-like case that proves that, okay, it's probably time to get off now. Until then, I'm holding. You guys kind of on the same page with him?
Yeah, I am. And actually, when you compare him to Olakau'atu, he's actually slightly worse than Olakau'atu. I've just looked at it again further, and I am now starting to think more and more with Hamoli, I'm back to where Browny is. Like, probably he is playing his way into a Blues jersey. You've got this brand newbie Martin, though, which is ultimately my point. He's footing it with all of these guys who are kind of seasoned professionals, who we are talking about being origin bolters. I wouldn't be surprised if Noah Martin ends up becoming a bolter from Laurie Daly. Because, I honestly think Daly thinks he needs to do what Slater does, needs to find the next big thing, try and find a Toya from last year. And I wouldn't be surprised if he then brings Martin into the team.
But see, I think that would be a play. I actually think Noah Martin getting a chance in Origin based on his performances this year would be brilliant selection. It's like you guys did with Shibasaki and Toya last year. It's like, stuff it. They're in form, pick them. And that's what I want to see more from the Blues.
But that's what, I guess, is your point, that you're worried that Daly doesn't do that.
Exactly. And I just think we're going to rinse and repeat the same side where there's just too much politics in New South Wales. Like, if I didn't have a devotion to my state, I would 100% rather barrack for Queensland. But it's just because the way their system is so much better. But I would never change sides. But it's very hard seeing Laurie Daly get named after never having a successful career as a coach in Origin. And it's like, oh, we just know what we're walking into again.
All I heard was that Jai said that Queensland are better.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. As much as I hate to say it, it's just like, all right, this year, my reality has changed. Everything is, it's the truth. It's what the truth is. Anyway, it's enough bloody Queensland glazing. The next Raiders chat points, guys, is Sasungi Bai. This is on your list, Kenty. I think this one, we've kind of rinsed over this for the last 2 weeks. I think it's more or less obvious now. He's got the edge and a DPP update. He's stable, man. Great Origin schedule. I don't have any adverse opinion to buying him. Got value to make as well.
That's my point. Is he still actually has value? So at the top of the show, we talked about how you still need to bring in players that have got value. You're going to still keep creating money for you, and Sasangi does that. So I'm pretty big on him as a buy.
Because we're going to move straight into Joseph Tarpany watch. And at first I was like, yuck, bro, he's on a watch list, but I'm not touching him. But a 60 score followed by 2 weeks ago, he scored in that 50s range with no Josh Papali'i, come back, had a down game, and now he's come back again. I think that he's now showing that scattered form where it's like we need to pay attention, because if we look at history, he's always been a buy at Origin time, never beforehand, and where he's really priced heavily low. So if we can see what we need to see in these kinds of players, Tino is in the same bracket for me. Their price is down. It's one tick. We need to see a role change to confirm selection. So what's your take there on that, Browny? Like, what's your side on Tarpany?
I just want to see if this form is going to be legit.
Yeah.
If this continuous form is going to be legit, if he can push into the 50s, 60s every single week, that is what I want to see, because come round 10, round 11, I'll be bumping Yo straight to Tarpany. Man, Raiders buy schedule is crazy.
Yeah, they're great.
Again, let's chuck them in the list too. That's 4 teams now, 4 teams that have brilliant coverage. We can't hyper dominate in them, but we're definitely going to have to look for where the key investments are. Sasungi.
I'll dabble. I'll dabble.
Dabble. Nice.
Oh, yes,
dabble.
you will.
Now, moving into the Storm, fellas, Joe Chan's sell. There is some narrative. I don't know if you guys have been seeing this in the comments sections about why are we selling Joe Chan. Any experienced coach would see this as obvious. He's made cash. He's had 2 suppressed scores. He's not performing, and now his break-even is sitting at a point where it's more likely he's going to lose cash than gain it. So you get out while he's high and use his cash to either continue cash generation or pivot into a pod that has good Origin coverage. It's pretty simple for me, but are you guys on the same page?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
The next one for me is a meanie watch. Now, I have been, I realized what I said straight after it. The meanie's been one you guys know I've talked about heaps. I was high on him in the preseason until he got named on the wing in round 1, and then I was completely off him. He's a 49 average with goal kicking when playing at centre for over 70 minutes. This means back when Ryan Pappenhausen was playing and Nick Meaney was kicking goals, he's a 49 average at centre. He's currently now in the 300K bracket. His break-even's high enough where we can watch week to week until we have to make this decision. But for someone that has round 12 available as play, centre wing fullback DPP, he's now presenting a very close case to a possible cash out option come Origin time, which is why I'm interested. It's not only a play where you've got someone that has decent scoring when playing at centre with goal kicking, he presents an opportunity for you to bank spare salary and make bigger plays. So I'm looking at it now. It's not something I'm certain on. What I need to see is that the Storm hit form. And I think there's a really strong case that that'll happen over Origin time.
I'm not massively high on him just because of his scoring profile, but I'm definitely watching, because if he does go on a bit of a tear, then I'm there. But yeah, I'm not as excited about him. The only player really in that sort of kind of mid-ranger winger, who kicks and that sort of stuff that I'm kind of seriously looking at is Isako. I like his plays. He's got a bit more upside. He's a bit more interesting to watch as well.
Yeah, he has the Origin coverage is undeniable as well in that side. which is definitely better. I think I will add on Meany too. I think a lot of the reason for his suppression in output has been because of the wing centre movement. That's one point. The next point is they've had McDonald out there. They've now got Cooper Clark out there. They haven't really been going left. And because the form of the Storm has been down, he hasn't really been getting any goal kicking. So I think once Lasardi returns and Blore returns and they start to get this consistency on both sides,
I'd agree.
Opening up, there's potential for him to rise. And you guys know this is probably where my pain point is in fantasy, is I'm always looking for that winger center not scoring tries that has a chance for upside. I think they're always a sneaky 150K, 200K if you can get them at a low enough price point. And origin period's the time to hit them. It's not the best buy in the world, but something, man, I'm keeping an eye on. It's a better than a Joash Papali'i cash out, if you know what I mean. So I just want his price to get to a point where it's like, this is beautiful. Put the cash in the bank. Oh, one of my emergency players is Nick Meany. That's a pretty good claim to make. Farlongo, risky buy, watch.
There's so many people who own him now. It's like 99% of the top 100 and then massive amount in the top 1,000. And so he's a player that I think at any given time he's going to end up having a lower game. I think we saw the start of that against the Warriors. Whether or not he continues to still have lower games is to be seen. Basically, he's a hard buy now because we've all seen what happens with wingers when they go on an absolute scoring tear. It's whether or not you jump on early enough or not. And if you've missed it now, I think it's too late. You could see that last week he was trying a bit too hard in patches. I think if you own him, you're holding, and he's going to be pretty necessary over Origin. So I'm kind of hoping now that we see a dip, lose a bit of cash, and then I'll jump on, ready for Origin.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to put it, hey, because right now, if you're buying in at a price that's more expensive than when
chasing
starting. Yeah, you're just confirming now that you're behind everyone that already owned him, in a sense, not behind overall, but behind on that play. And that's kind of why we all went turbo last week. Moving into the next game, guys, Dolphins and Panthers. Now, Kenty, you got Herbie buy here. I think that's an obvious one. Everyone should own Herbie. Great origin buy coverage. He's probably going to be the most captain player over that period too.
For sure. That's my point, is that he is pretty much the premier captain over Origin.
Max Plath watch. I can't tell you how much I love the idea of this. Hooker mid DPP. Everyone's looking in the realms of Brendan Smith, Sonny Luke, Blake Brayley, Harry Grant. We've got Crossland now on the range, Reece Robson on the range that people are talking about. But this is the one where I think we could see some strong origin coverage and planning. We've actually recently just got news that Donohue's hurt his hamstring again for the third time this season, which only reduces the friction against Max Plath. Now we just need Jeremy Marshall-King to return. Does he stay as the 80-minute hooker and Plath go to utility, or will Plath start at lock and Morgan Knowles come and fill in that spot from the bench? So I really want to hear more of what you've got here on Plathy, because if I can get convinced, bro, I'm buying in.
You could somewhat see his scores as a bit mediocre from what we've seen. Like, he's been playing decent minutes, but out of that hooker role, he's very similar to Connor Watson.
Yeah.
When he plays hooker, you don't like it. But when he gets the minutes at lock, that's when he's very much enticing. He's got the perfect origin buy cover of any hooker in the competition. Like, any hooker. You could look at Robson, you could look at like Crossland, all down the list, Coruscant. None of them really compare to Max Plath and his buy coverage. And the fact now that he's mid-hooker DPP only adds to how juicy it's getting. I think come round 10, 11, somewhere like that, because his break-even's at 40, so you could kind of argue that he's at his floor at the moment. Even next week or the week after is the time to buy in, because he's going to hover around this kind of 520, between 520 to 550 range. I think he's a must-have come Origin time.
Is there a case for buying him now?
You could, absolutely.
To myself, what if I go for him? Because the problem I'm going to have is if I buy into Brendan Smith this week, then I kind of kick myself out of Plath. Because it's like I've got my hooker coverage. I don't really need to jump in unless I need a mid, which I guess you could argue as well. Because really his only risk now, based on his current price point and average, is that if he shifts to utility in place of Donohue and he doesn't get a starting role on the side. Outside of that, it's like he went from 39 and 27 points in 42 and 61 minutes in his first two games back. Then he's played 74 and 64 minutes for a 46 and a 43. So he's kind of presenting that case of same as what you just said with Watson. If he gets the minutes, he gets the points. I actually think he's a better scorer at hooker than what Watson is. And what if he plays that kind of hybrid role? Like, what if he does play some lock, let's say for Morgan Knowles, say 30 to 35 minutes, and then he replaces JMK for 20 minutes, kind of like what Brendan Smith's doing with the hooker lock hybrid. I don't know, man. It's hard because we know what he's capable of. Like, he can be a 700K player, and I'm like, oh, I love it. As soon as I seen your name come in on the list, I was like, whoa, that makes me happy seeing Max Blath here. Yeah, I don't know.
It's difficult to weigh up just because of the price differential. Like, you're getting Brandon Smith at pretty much near base.
Yeah.
You're paying over 200K more for Max Plath that may only get you 10 to 15 points extra this week.
Yeah,
and it kind of goes against at this point in kind of what we said at the start. He's the key player as an example of getting Origin cover too soon. He's priced at 41. His average is 38 at the moment. He's still got a bit of money to lose, and he could have quite a big crash given the fact that his break-evens are at a 40 right now too. So he's someone that I would be looking at as a round 10, round 11 play. Because I totally agree with you. He's absolutely on one of my absolute highest points to pair with Brayley. And I also don't mind him paired with Cheese because you're going to need one of them most likely in mid, particularly when it comes to round 12.
Yeah.
You do need all three.
Yeah.
Because if you actually go in and look at any sort of Origin planning, all three become pretty crucial. Here's the other thing that happens just about every single year when you're talking about Plath Cheese is one of them will be injured.
Yeah.
Just about always happens, and it happens at the most inopportune time, right when you need them the most.
Panthers, guys, I think these were pretty easy. We've talked about the Isaiah Yeo hold all year. Yeah. The same case, still not a score under 50. Yes, minutes are a concern, but he is a hold into Origin because his value is steady and he provides an easy pivot point to, say, Jaden Campbell. And it's like, oh, cool, I've already got the money in the cash in the bank right now to make that move, but make it at the right time kind of thing. So, yeah, he's easy. Isaiah Yeo hold, we know we're on the same page there. Jenkins, watch avoid too, Kenty. I think that this is kind of a repeat of last week as well, to a sense. And if anything, he just proved to everybody why you shouldn't have bought in. 2 tries, was it? Yep. And he still scored a 40.
2 tries, 46.
Yeah, 46. Yep. So, hello, 2 tries, 32 versus Cronulla. It's like, unless he's getting all of the other stat verticals as well in massive blowout wins, you bought in too high. He's too heavily priced. It's like a worse version of drink water.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Hit it on the head.
Yeah, he's out. The one I'm interested in here too, another Brownie pod. Luke Garner watch. What's your narrative there?
Martin is injured. He's in doubt for Origin, so he's going to be on the sidelines for a little bit. When Luke Garner plays over 70 minutes, he's a 50 average. Ooh. And currently he's priced at 36. So you're looking at about 14 points worth of value there. He's going to be very low on a lot of people's buy lists because of the amount of edges we already have and already the amount of cheap edges that have come into fantasy relevancy this week. But for anyone looking for an ultra pod play that plays in arguably the best team in the comp and is
arguably,
he's the best. Well, look, Doggies fans will be up in arms after last week. Kudos to them. They'll be saying they're the best. But yeah, Penrith, the best team in the league currently. And if you've got an 80-minute edge on that team and he's severely undervalued, I think you got to have a look into him.
Definitely pulled out something here that's worth definitely having on a watch list because he has one game at 80 minutes this year for a 47. The rest have all been under par. So he's clearly not playing in the role that's closely aligned with his general average. He hasn't tanked enough in value for me. I think that's why I haven't noticed him. Yep. But the fact he's coming up against the Dolphins, it's MCL, I think, for Liam Martin too, isn't it? 4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. So the window is large enough where you could look to take the punt on him. It's nice in the 400K bracket too. I'm not going to lie. I think the only issue for me is it's just another edge forward coming into an Origin period where it's what heaps already.
For me, it was like people looking at Tallis Duncan. It's like maybe look at Garner instead.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's a nice call.
And he's got Dolphins, Knights, Sea Eagles, Raiders, Dragons.
Oh, dude.
As his play into round 12 bye. Yep. So what you're looking at him is a 5-week cash grab. Does he make that fast enough?
Yeah. And the reason I'd probably have Tallis Duncan over all of them is that he gives you origin coverage. So the second you guys said there's no round 12, it's like, nah, sorry, not interested. I'm not looking for cash plays right now. I'm looking for origin coverage.
Yeah, but it's ideal in the sense that if you can get a player that could go really fast, and Garner could, like, I love the shout. He is a player that likes to score a cheeky try.
I think that's probably one of the best ones we brought on the potty today, to be honest.
Just don't tell anyone, Browny.
Yeah, we'll
this isn't getting aired.
No, we'll paywall it. All you'll see is
yeah. What was that?
Oh. Next game, boys. Wars and Titans.
Sorry, who? The Mighty Warriors up the Wars.
Yahoo! There you go. I celebrated you in the Wars. I will this week because I think they're going to murder the Titans. But interestingly, they're going back to the Tanner Boyd single halfback narrative. Will this mean a revert back to the way they were in those first few rounds where it looked like they could have won the premiership? Hopefully for coaches that own Tanner Boyd. But mine's the Jackson Ford buy narrative. Now, I've got him as a buy, but I think it's more because mid's hard to fill and Terrell May's not playing round 12. He's not really, I'm not looking at him and I won't be buying him myself, but I can understand if coaches are looking to get in. There's still a bit of time left before Barney returns, but that's exactly why I don't like it, is that right now we're buying in at a price point that's pretty steep. He's going to score well, most likely over the next few weeks, but as soon as Barney comes back, we just don't know what that role is going to be. I think it's different to the first time we were seeing this narrative where Ford was playing big minutes and then Barney was coming off the bench, because Ford, every single week he's playing big minutes. He's just demanding some sort of regression. Like, he's going to need to take a break. He can't keep doing what he's doing all year.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is that you're pretty much buying him at where he's scoring. And can you really see him pushing much higher? Not really, because he's giving it his absolute best. He's giving it his all. So all that you're going to be doing is getting an expensive player that will drop in weeks to come. It's a scary kind of purchase. You're basically purchasing what will be a depreciating asset. You don't buy those.
Yeah.
So that's something I would just really consider, and I would look elsewhere. Like, May is a way better purchase, but you could still wait a week on him because he's gone through his whole depreciation and he's pretty much now at price. He's got a much better place now to move because you can also see a whole lot of growth still in May. And that's the biggest difference for me.
Leka Halasima, sell Browny. I think you're on the money. The dude sucks this year, no offense. It's because of how he's being used. Like, if he was just a 2-minute edge, he'd be a gun. But
the lows outweigh the highs. 3 weeks ago, 16 and 66 minutes. And then he bounces back with a 53 and 80 minutes. And then against the Storm, where they absolutely crushed us, he only scored a 12 in 80 minutes.
Well, that's because he also didn't touch the ball for pretty much the whole first half.
He didn't touch the ball until somewhere around the 30th minute.
30 minute, yeah.
And then, so I think we're sold there. Definitely get rid of Lecker if you got him. Tanner Boyd is your one, Kenty. You've got him now listed as a risky buy again. I like it, to be honest. I don't have the balls to buy in myself, and I'd much rather go the route, pay another 100K and a bit to get Jaden Campbell. But far out, man, people who bought into Tanner Boyd at the start of the season, I don't know if you guys remember, I was high on the Tanner Boyd narrative, but my whole thing was, I just think that there's better options. Like, that's what I was saying. So I went around Tanner Boyd, and then it's like, dude, if I just made a dumb decision, in theory, if I just chose to go a dumb route, I'd be profiting huge now. So I don't mind the idea of buying in now. I think that we've seen enough to know that he's probably going to go back. Probably not to, you couldn't guarantee he's going to go back to an 80 average, but I think he's definitely going to be a 60 plus average, and owning coaches will be absolutely laughing.
Totally. I mean, the risk is that he's got a 63 break even. So, you know how we've talked about in previous weeks that really the only thing that break even really tells you is the timing of when to buy a player or when to sell a player is ultimately what it's there for. But you don't go chasing break evens. Just want to put that out there. But ultimately what his 63 tells me is it's starting to come down and come a little bit closer to him being a buy again. So he scored a 59 last week. He was pulling all the strings. Against Titans at home will be a very interesting game. Just a side note, Titans have been a bit of our bogey team at home, much like the Cowboys are for Storm. So just keep that in mind. I do think that Tanner Boyd is someone that if you wanted to take a flyer you like the look of his bye schedule. I mean, he's there for the first major and minor. So it would get you through where you're missing, the likes of Cleary. Then I think, man, I would take the risk.
Good luck to anyone that takes that punt
And
there.
the risk is relatively low in the sense that, he might lose a little bit of money this week, but the reality is you can't really see him scoring less than 50s.
Moving into Titans, though, fellas, JC is the first one I want to talk on here because I think it's you and me, Brownie, that have him as the topic of discussion. I've got him as a buy watch only because his buy is next week. So if you buy in this week, you then don't have him next week. And it's kind of like the Brayley case as to why we said not to buy Brayley last week. I don't have any issues with anyone buying into him now. I think that if you wanted to buy him this week, you can, as long as you've got the coverage the following week, which you most likely would have to cover him again before he comes back. He plays in round 12, which is huge. I'm just going to watch this, although he's definitely going to be more expensive in round 9 when you do buy in. But if you buy in now, you kind of get in before that next price hike. So that's kind of my take. I watch or buy. I don't really care what one you go, but what do you have to add there, Brownie? I think he's been brilliant this year, man. Everyone's going to need to own him.
No, he's crazy. He's out averaging Cleary.
Far out.
That's
the highest averaging half in the game.
Yep, that's the hard hitting point about this. So, like, if you bought in this week, I wouldn't mind it whatsoever, even if he has the buy, because I mean, in that scenario, I dare say people would have Dewey and Cleary anyway. So, if you have JC waiting in the wings for 1 week, and then after his buy, he's clear sailing, plays the first major captain material, I'll be getting him come Origin time, even if I pivot off Cleary over that Origin period and just run with JC.
Yeah, like, look, it's one of those ones where it's like, yeah, he's got a low break even, he's going to go up in cash, but even if it was 920k, I'd buy him anyway. I don't care about the price rise in him now. It's just about, I already know that I'm using one of Patrick Carrigan or Isaiah Yeo as my pivot point to get him, and I'll just do it in round 12. That's pretty much sitting on it. Yeah. Next one's Aramaho from you, Kenty. I agree with this one. You can still buy in. Break even, I think, sitting at 14 on the month.
14. So he's got a break even of 14. His average all up is 52.8, so basically 53. His rolling last 3 averages is essentially 64, and he's just been brilliant. They are seeing him as quite an attacking force. He's similar to Olakau'atu in the sense that they are targeting his side, targeting players that he can, run up against, and he's getting all kinds of tackle breaks. Even when he hasn't played, some of those really big scores, he's still looked the part, even against the Broncos, scoring a 48. That wasn't with a try, but basically that was, with good solid tackling, one missed. That's what I really want to see from a running edge is, are they creating enough tackle breaks? 5 in a game is brilliant. So you've already got 10 points of base right there. He's starting to offload a whole lot more. Yeah, all the signs are there. He's still got growth. He could easily be a 600 to 650 player. You could still buy in. You could still get some cash out of him. Who knows? He could still go another 80 to 100k, and then he's a wicked pivot point when you need to. And then also across Origin, because that's, me boys in my planning. He misses the first minor and then the last major. Huge option there. So across, 6 games, he's had 23 tackle breaks.
Yeah, I have no urgency to get off him at all. We all bought in at base price, didn't we?
Yeah, started with him.
Man, we're cheering. Absolutely loving it. He's one of my ones. It's him, Noah Martin, and Helam Lukey that I'm just holding all Origin period. Like, I don't care where their scoring goes. I have no reason to get rid of them at all. And then the next game, guys, Rabbitohs, Dragons. The one here, you brought Brownie, Fifi, and Gray Sell. Very easy. They're both injured. Get rid of them. We don't need to own those guys. They're going to miss the first major buy as well based on their injury time frame. So just hop out. Kenty on a Murray watch. What's your point there on Murray?
He's actually starting to string some play together. And if you look at his scores, his base score the floor score this year is a 49. Otherwise, he's low to mid 50s. And against the Raiders, where Raiders are actually putting up a decent forward battle, 3.4% owned. His current break-even is a 57, so he's pretty much playing his prices. So he's not someone that you need to charge out and grab. But again, he's someone that I'm intimating that is worth the watch in this next sort of month period. I think he could be someone that could really pop up, and we are looking for mids. Mids are tricky, and I do think that he's someone that could really pop up and be pretty amazing over Origin. So
mine's Duncan Podby, which we've kind of touched on
Yeah.
a little bit throughout this pod. It's obvious. No David Fafita. Tallis Duncan had already showed an increased prominence. My only concern was that there was this potential for edge mid flips and capped minutes. I think the David Fafita injury now all but confirms that he is an 80-minute edge for at least the next 6 weeks. And in that position with this Rabbitohs side and the way that they're playing, are a bit on and off, but I think they're starting to get on that upward trajectory now. I think that he profits massively. I think that he is probably the best pod this week to buy, would be my opinion, is that if you're looking for an edge pod or like that next play, he is the best in the market. I could do it if I wanted to, but I'm trying to save that trade. So I really like him. I think that he's a 700K player with the scoring profile that he presents in that position. What I would love to see is him on the left where David Fafita was.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we will see because it makes more sense than having Hubner out there. Hubner on that right side is more of that defensive orchestration. But then again, I can see that not happening because then you get a storm set up where you've got one side that's hyper dominant in an attack, whereas if you've got Tallis Duncan over the other side of the field, it splits that a lot. So yeah, I think it doesn't matter what way you cut it. You've got an underpriced Tallis Duncan who's got a low break even buy-in. Now, Dargans, boys, Stuart watch hold for you, Kenty. I agree. It's the mid coverage in round 12 that's so difficult.
So you need him for Origin, but I wouldn't really be buying in now because is he going to start kind of getting his minutes tanked again? Once Rauch comes back, once Egan comes back, there's a whole lot of moving parts. I'm hoping Sewer gets to go and leave the team immediately, but yeah, it's going to be tricky. So all I'm hoping is that there's on weeks and off weeks, and basically I need him as numbers.
Couchman watch. We're both on the same page here, Brownie. It's Toby Couchman. Oh, right. Okay. They were good. I've got a head-to-head narrative again. I've got him as a watch simply because I don't know what his role looks like when Ryan Couchman returns. Is like right now, are we seeing an influx in Toby Couchman and we're going to see his minutes capped a little bit upon Ryan Couchman's return? We've seen that for the first few rounds. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened again. That's my only reason for a watch. Otherwise, dude, screaming by mid-edge DPP, it's like, thank you very much. Round 12, he plays. That's my take. But do you have anything to add to that, Brownie?
There is some risk involved when it comes to Toby, but I did a bit more digging as to his scoring. People may be turned off him because he played 42 minutes and 32 minutes in rounds 2 and 3. Round 2, when he came off early, he was dealing with a bit of like an ankle complaint. And when Cook went down for, I think it was a HIA or something around, it was injury related. And Cook came off, Toby was forced back out there with 10 minutes to go. So effectively, Toby had his minutes reduced that round 2 game. Round 3, he had that HIA and he failed. If that injury and the HIA didn't happen, I still do think he would have played mid 50 to 60 minutes, even with Ryan there.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's why I think just because of what people are seeing there are the low minute reduction in those 2 games, I think even if Ryan was playing, his minutes will still be around that 55-minute mark. On the bench, you got the Blake Lawries, you got the Josh Kerrs, you got these guys that are not going to play big minutes. In recent weeks, they have had to because Ryan not being there. The beneficiaries of this Dragons pack when it comes to minutes are going to be the Couchman brothers and Hamish Stewart.
Yeah, 100.
When Egan does come back, I think we will see him play off the bench initially to get back into a bit of game form. Luciano misses out on a load of minutes. I think he ends up being like maybe a 55, 60-minute guy while he's on the edge. When Egan's in form, whatever happens with Jaden Sewer happens. Like he may be an early release. We don't know yet. The way the Dragons are going, I think they may just take the pity party on him and just say, look, mate, you can go. That's fine.
Let him go because then we can get Egan on the edge for 80 minutes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love
just let him go. Like I'm going to get Ryan when he comes back next week. Absolutely. But a lot of people are sleeping on Toby Couchman.
Big time. Yep.
And that's why, I
think the other point though is every reasoning that you've given, also why he hasn't scored well, is something that I do think we need to take into consideration. There's the injuries and everything else that we saw of last season, and I was one of those numpties that brought him twice, sold him twice. And I don't think we can go past that. And I do see that there is an element of they are likely, Flano will likely ground him into the dirt and he's going to die a cruel death at some point and he might not even make round 12, 13 when you really want him as a mid. He's kind of erring more towards a watch for me as much as I'd love to own him.
When it comes to that, though, like last year we saw the shoulder injury. That's why I think we both bought twice and we sold twice because we bought into that whole narrative of, yeah, he's fine, but then bang, re-injury.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of that this season. The ankle one was just a bit of like a wrong place, wrong time kind of situation. It hasn't troubled him again this season. He's bounced back straight away next week in that HIA game. He wasn't laboured by any ankle injury. And then HIAs happen to any player. We know that. Like look, Reece Walsh.
I like both takes.
I also reckon this is one of your pods that you're looking at this week too.
Yeah. He's reinforcing it too hard.
You know me too well, eh?
Not just that, but there's a glint, there's a look in Brownie's eyes that I've learnt over the course of many FaceTimes.
Well, you won't be able to guess the second one.
Yes,
we've spoken about him already. We've spoken about him.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Who is it?
Water.
No, it's not drinking.
No.
I knew it wasn't drinking. I've got my suspicions, but I'm not going to out him for the second one.
No, it's not drinky.
I want to out him for the second one now. Who's another one person who went
This is going to get through everyone now, eh?
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll figure it out. And then I'll bite him so you can't catch me. So next one, guys, is Tigers Broncos. Now, we've got the May one here. Again, me and Brownie going head-to-head. Is it Terrell May? But, he's a buy watch. Now, I spoke to you, Kenty, I believe, before we started recording here. Obvious case to buy him. There's no downside in buying him. He doesn't play round 12, but there's a case for buying now because of that. The earlier you buy into Terrell May, the less that round 12 becomes an issue because you've got him for more weeks to score. The closer you buy into round 12, the more you now need to leave it. I'm of the leave it factor. And the reason for it, like just a watch, buy him in round 13. And the reason I'm holding that opinion is because he's had a big score in the 70s based on overtime. He's then scored in the 70s last week. Brilliant game, but it was try-buffed. Outside of that, he has actually been scoring just below where his current break-even is. So what you're going to see is if he does, and he coming up against the Broncos, where statistically he actually averages a little bit lower. Like he's coming up against Payne Haas, for Christ's sake. Like, of course, he's going to have a harder time. So I think what we'll see is if he hits a 55 to 60 point score in this game, that break even now skyrockets back into the 70s, and we might still see a bit more depreciation in him. I don't think that is by any means a reason not to buy him. If you want to buy him and you're high on him, get on him now. But if you do want to see that price come down a little bit, or the chance of it a little bit, save some trades and say use an Isaiah Yeo or Patrick Carrigan to get to him, then just wait until round 13. That's my take on it.
I think he's buy now territory, but there is some risk there. And we always say it, there's origin risk, but Laurie Daly, man, he's freaking peanut. No. You can't
Laurie Daly would get Hindmarsh out of retirement and start him at prop before giving Terrell May a shot.
Correct. Yeah, I've no doubt. His break even at the moment is kind of in the territory where he can surpass it, and this cash gen is going to keep going up again. There is going to be this plateau or some point, though, where he's going to come back down, and maybe that's when you kind of look at buying him in round 13, like when he surpasses that first buy that he has in round 12. 100% your narrative, like get on him then. But I think if you just need that boost at the mids at the moment, and say you have, Twal, Yo, you ride Yo a couple more weeks, and then if you're like, okay, I know Origin's coming up, it's round 9, round 10, I'm just going to take the early call. I've got the cash there. I'm just going to go Yo to May now. And it's like, all right, no worries. As long as you got the 3 mid cover.
So KPP buy for Tigers, Kenty, you started to get real high on this last week. You put the gloves on and started throwing uppercuts at the Samuel Fainu play. I then started ducking them and throwing hooks. And I think we come up to an end result of both guys are very interesting. And KPP definitely will prove whether my narrative on it was right or wrong. But it doesn't matter because even if he gets less ball, if he gets more ball, he is still the best edge in the game right now to own. Yep. And I love the idea of a buy. So when would you buy him?
I think he's very, very similar to May. I just don't think you buy them both and own them both in this period. You need to pick one or the other. Exactly like you were talking about with May, I would have him either immediately or you wait till after 12. My kind of play is probably looking at, I'd love to get one of them now, to get the other after their round 12 bye. So that's kind of what I'm playing with, because then from that point on, you're going to have two of the best scorers that you can get in their position by far. You were saying that, May get suppressed playing Haas, so does Haas.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really intriguing this round.
Tom Duffy is a name on the list here for you, Kenty. I think he's a clear avoid, and the low break even is going to entice people. He's actually quite high on the most viewed and who's hot radar.
Yeah, which is why I put him down, because I was interested. The fact that was the case. He's got what, the lowest break even of the round, and so you can see that people are obviously chasing break evens. There is a world where I can see him starting again if Reynolds isn't 100.
It's a waste of a trade buying into Tom Duffy, in my opinion, which kind of leads me into Jesse Arthurs as well. It's a waste of a trade. You're not going to have Jesse Arthurs for a long enough time frame to justify continued investment when Walsh returns. And really what we're looking for now is people that have value to make. Jesse Arthurs ticks that potential. But then does he have the origin coverage that you require over that period? My guess is that if you bought into Jesse Arthurs right now, you would get a little bit of value out of him for sure. Reece Walsh comes back, and then not only does he start to tank in value, he gives you no coverage of reliability over the origin period. Broncos have one of the worst origin schedules. Well, I guess it more impacts origin players, but still it sucks. So definitely understand the take of a risk towards Jesse Arthurs if it's short-term cash grab. It's actually one of the more risky ones. Like if you're going to go and buy into Jesse Arthurs, just please go and buy an Ari Tuala. It's a way better choice. But again, it's just an option there for coaches. And I would say I wanted to bring this one in here, boys, because I've labeled Payne Haas as a hold after multiple weeks of saying sell. And there's a reason behind it. And I think you guys would be very well aligned on why it's been the case. He was a sell in round 4, ideally, because he was at 930K. He then dropped to 906K. Us boys sold, got into Twal. Twal has now made a mountain of money. The real losers are the ones that have held Haas all this time. But now with Patrick Carrigan out, it's perceivable that Payne Haas will be more heavily relied upon. And I can see him maybe hitting like that low 60s bracket again this week. Ideally, you wouldn't want to hold him. You would want to sell him, but it needed to be done weeks ago because now there's no value in the sell. And I still think he's going to score below break even. He's still going to lose cash, but you've already gone through. You've already lost the value of the trade out. So now you may as well just hold him and ride it out. There's no urgency to get rid of him. To me, that's a logical decision. But I've had some coaches questioning it. So I was just like, let's put it out there. It's a no-brainer to hold him with no Carrigan there. They literally have no other big minute guys to rely on. Let's move into the second last one, guys. Roosters and Knights. Teddy bye. I think that's become obvious now. Break even is a little bit higher than his average, but he is a guy we know dominates over Origin. I'm not going to say he's not playing Origin. There's always a little bit of an element of risk there. The dude is a 2025 Dally M medalist. He's had up and down form, but the old Dylan Edwards versus Tedesco narrative is always going to be a factor when it comes to Origin time until one of them ultimately retires. So he's the safest winger fullback option with Origin risk in the market, for my opinion. He's the one that you can buy into. I have no adverse opinion against buying Teddy. I think it's the right time. Just trying to get through these ones quick so we don't get too stuck on them. The one here, Wong Watch Pod by Kenty. I really like this. I actually called out Wong last week as a potential watch because, it's starting to really level out in terms of what mouths are getting fed. Plus, Angus Crichton leaves for Origin, most likely. Again, it's hard to say this with certainty. I think he's a great person to consider in the pack. Out of all of the others, he's kind of where I'm sitting, and we know what he can score when he gets the 80-minute roll. So what's your take on him?
I really like the way in which he's been scoring. So his last 3 or 4 rounds, he's essentially hitting 50s, almost climbing into the 60s, playing really well in the sense that he's really upped his tackle count after the first round against the Warriors. But that was a game that you could kind of write off a bit because it was incredibly wet and the Warriors were were basically smashing them. Every other game then, when you look at the Roosters, they have been much more like forward dominant and kind of playing more their game with good D. Tackle breaks are right up there again. He's making 3 to 4 tackle breaks every single game, and his running meters are becoming a little bit more consistent, where he's up over the 120, so climbing into 140 the last 2 rounds. He's someone who I think people are sleeping on, and again, if you are needing an edge through the middle of Origin, he's someone that I'm heavily considering. So he misses 12 and 18, but then he plays everything all through the middle, and he's cheap in comparison to some of the other options.
Yeah, where it could be priced is way heavier.
Correct. And so, and then I am also looking for, like, from a strategy perspective, I'm looking for players who can make over Origin, they can get a decent run of games where you can see them as being players that can make quite a bit of money over that time. And he has a current break even of 33. So the likelihood is he's going to keep just chipping away. But I do think he's a player that has been overlooked.
So next one, guys, I really like this, Brownie, because we're getting so many questions about it. Reece Robson.
I've got him as a pod buy, but there is some risk in it just because of his buy coverage. So he misses round 12 and round 18. I don't know. Brayley's like the safest bet you could have at hooker this season, without a doubt. But then it comes into this tier below him where even Harry Grant fits into this tier now of this 40s guy. If you're looking at a collective group in this kind of tier, you're looking at Grant, Robson, Crossland, Coruscant, Plath. Some of them are consistent 80 minutes. Some of them are. Robson is a consistent 80-minute hooker, right? And even if Watson's in the side, it looks like Robson's role is not going to change. We saw last week, got 55 points, which was good to see. So it wasn't a low 40s game, wasn't a high 40s game. It was a mid 50s game. So he is showing that scoring pedigree that he does have in his game. I like it as a buy now scenario where if you don't want to run Brandon Smith at hooker, you can always just go to a 500 and something K Reece Robson. If you're looking for that hooker coverage and you're like, nah, I don't want to play Brandon Smith. I know he's going to get me like maybe a 30. I don't want to do it. I just want to run the risk. I just want to get a guy who's playing 80 minutes at hooker, solidified scoring in that position for 1 week. Robson's definitely that dude.
I see. I don't mind the narrative. My take is that it's a similar reason as to why I've gone to Arla instead of Teddy this week, is you're kind of buying into someone that has got that low 40s potential and low 50s potential, and he might stagnate cash gen. I like the idea of Robson, but the other part of it too is that I think the Roosters beating the Sharks still has me 50-50 on who wins the hooker position for Origin out of Brayley and Robson. And I'm like, again, that's a worry for me. So it's like, I think it goes Brayley, Grant, Robson as the three top guys right now with reliability. And Grant's a certainty. Brayley and Robson are 50-50. So I kind of wouldn't buy into Brayley. Obviously, he's on the buy, or Robson if I already had one or the other. I think right now, if you've just got Marnie and Smith or something like that, then definitely look to take a punt on Robson and get something out of him until we know what way things are going to go. Like if I had to pick the Origin team, it's Brayley without a doubt that's playing hooker this year. No doubt in my mind. He's been a way better player, but it's Laurie Daly and Reece Robson's been there before. He's done it before.
At his price point, I would rather have Plath.
That was best
Plath,
that up.
Plath actually covers, the opposite weeks to Brayley if you own Brayley better.
Yep.
I just wouldn't be pushing up that high. Not that it's a massive difference or anything, but
PPP, man, far out. Like it's
massive.
So important, man. It is so important,
especially at Origin.
Yeah, I agree. I like Robson as a buy though, man. If it was 5 weeks ago and we had this kind of narrative, I might have started the season with him. It would have been nice.
Well, and he was one that we kind of tossed around, and then everything got kind of screwed up. But he would have been the better pick for sure.
Yeah, we got the Todd Payton false promise of an 80-minute Marnie, and there's coaches still paying for that, man. Like Reed Marnie is so high ownership. Got to get off him. Knights, though, boys, we'll move into them. Mooney holds sell narrative for you, Kenty. I think I'm more on that hold train just because
correct. But I'm pretty close. I'm much closer to a hold than I am a sell. I can see why coaches would jump off.
And then Dylan Brown, watch Brownie. We're back, boys. The bet is so as athlete, shout out to him. We finally renegotiated the terms of the bet. I felt horrible winning this based on the fact that he misses so much time in the middle of our bet based on injury, but I cannot deny that I am worried. So I've leveraged this to my advantage. Longy wants to drag this out until round 11 for the bet. Fair enough. But I'm not doing that without any regard to my position increasing too. So I've gone from a 44 average above below to a 47 average above below. I thought that was fair. And I think that signals exactly what I think we're going to see from Dylan Brown. And I do think that Dylan Brown will be better now than what I perceived him to be at the start of the season. Not because I was wrong on my call. Clearly I'm right so far. But the reason being is that a lot of where I've seen Dylan Brown tanking, he just happened to get lucky by missing through injury. So a lot of the teams I thought the Knights would struggle against, Dylan Brown wasn't there to play against them. And now I'm like, he's back. He's missed a whole bunch of those games. I think he's going to have decent output. I'm really hoping against the Roosters it's stunted to start with. And that's why I agree with the watch narrative. But I will go openly on record and say right now that Dylan Brown is someone I'm considering very strongly as an Origin half. Without a doubt. I just want to see the performance first. Someone I want over the Origin period. I think he could dominate, especially based on Knights' form. They've definitely been a more improved sides over recent weeks. So
they've also been improved with players out, which I think is the reason why.
You think why? Oh, so you don't think Brown and Ponga coming back is going to be better for them?
Oh, I think Ponga will be, but we did see them look quite confused when they were all there. And then it was similar narrative to the Warriors. As soon as they kind of had to simplify, they looked much sharper. So it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. That is a good point, isn't it? Sometimes it can be a bit too many chefs, not enough egg beaters.
How'd you come up with that?
You wouldn't believe it. I've never said, no, I'm not going to say that.
Just triple down.
Yeah, just get out of there, Jai. Anyway, I think Brown's one to consider. I think the mouth-feeding business is going to be a problem, potentially. But I am also worried that Brown was at 44 points at halftime when he did his MCL. And that's something I can't deny. So I was like, oh, no.
And he did that pretty easily.
Yeah. And that's because I think Ponga went down. Again, what you said, Kenty, it's like they had to simplify. Yeah. And when it became we have to simplify, Dylan Brown just started doing everything. I'm worried about it, but I'm going to win the bet, and Longy's going to have a blonde beard. Chee-hoo.
I just hope we don't have to look at you, because there's going to be a tough month.
Bleach blonde.
Fine, you guys will finally get to deal with what I deal with looking at you guys on the podcast screen every day. Just kidding, you beautiful man. Brown watch. Do you guys have anything to add?
No, I was an owner. I was a happy owner until he fell during the halftime. But I'll be looking to get back on him at some point for sure.
Yeah, that's right. That you guys were the ones that said, "Nah, you're not really that keen in the preseason," and then fell for the Longy narrative and jumped in on him, weren't you?
I always had him.
Yeah, Browny had him for a long time.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to get a win here, fellas. All right. Next one in the Knights. It's the last one for the Knights we're talking on. Thomas Cant. Now, there's a buy watch narrative here. I'm more on the watch train because there's a lot of things that need to be in place for him to be a sure thing. And I think he needs to be playing 80 minutes or at least 60 plus. There's a cool narrative out there that there was the potential for him to goal kick. And I thought that would have locked him in for me. But now looking at the lineup, it's more or less that it's unlikely he goal kicks. And he's got a 60-minute window-ish, could potentially be 80, but he's really a defensive edge. So I don't see much coming his way in terms of cash gen unless he has the maximum time on the field to be able to maximize the the defensive stats. He's one I want to watch, but if someone wanted to buy, I wouldn't talk him out of it at all. I think he's going to make some money.
I think he's a massive buy this week. Barry TV came out and said that it's probable that he won't play 80 minutes because he hasn't had the game time under him this season. But from everything I've looked at, past positionings, even when he started, he's been on the interchange the rounds beforehand. And every time he started at second row, he's played 80 minutes. So there is the narrative that he goes out there this week and plays 80 minutes. There's a massive
The other thing too is even if he goes 60 this week and then is an 80-minute edge, I can absolutely see that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he's going to be a stud. And we already know, like we were talking about Thomas Cant or Jermaine McEwen in the preseason. Yeah. And it was like, if Thomas Cant starts, you buy in. And that was at a way higher price point. So like, I don't I don't think he's not a buy, and we've got the security of his position with no Dylan Lucas for 4 to 6 weeks. Another deterrent for me is I'm pretty sure his break even sitting at 39, so you can kind of get away with the watch without losing too much on the buy.
Yeah, I mean, he's dropped 120k. So what that tells you is that there's the likelihood of 120k gain sitting there ready to go. We all know what he was like at the end of last season when he got that 80-minute edge roll. So
definitely a great one to keep an eye on. Last game, fellas, we're finally here. Eels versus Bulldogs. Yeah, another murder. Sunday at 6 p.m. Goodbye, Eels. If you lost to the Titans by did they get 50 in the end, the Titans? Yep. Yeah. If you lost to the Titans by 50, we could be looking at the first 100-point score of the season against the Eels this week. As much as I hate to say it, shout out Sean from the Faithful, sucked in. The Eels got beaten by Titans 50 points. Anyway, moving on.
Sean, we love you.
Yeah, well, I love Sean too, but far out, man. He must be a loyal bloke because to follow the Eels for this long.
Every team's gone through it, bro. We've all gone through it.
He does. But even his response after me giving him a bit of slack on the sideline live commentary was, hey, we might be the first team to win the premiership after losing by 50 points twice in a season.
Nice.
Like, that's the kind of devotion I want to see in our fans.
What a legend. Oh, I love that.
So yours, Kenty, Moses as a sell avoid.
I just have him as like a burn. Burn, punt. Just get rid of.
Give him to your dog. Get rid of him out of your fantasy side.
He was one player that I think when he had that a couple of rounds ago where he actually had a half decent score, that was the time that you go, oh, fuel. I can get a little bit of money out of him and bail. I honestly think he's one of the biggest cash holes in your team for sure.
Yeah, he's worse than David Fafita was being.
Oh yeah, 100.
The dude's got a groin strain. He's not kicking goals. He even is job sharing with Ronald Volkman now. Like it's not like he's carrying the team anymore. So goodbye. Any future of Mitch Moses, I think, is gone. He's no longer a 700k half. I don't think
he's a 570k right now. He's got a 55 break even. His last round was a 29. His average points are 43 across the whole season, which is real scary for, like his pedigree. His 3-game rolling average is 35 and a half. The last 5 is 44 and a half. Like the guy, you just gotta move on.
Yeah, he's done.
He's only had 2 games, round 2 and 3, that were half decent.
Charlie Geimer watch. I like this a lot.
Yes. Guys, if you liked the Garner shout, you're going to love this shout.
Oh, give it to
I didn't know this had become a pitch meeting.
You wait for this. I'm about to blow your minds.
Oh, well, looks like Brownie's trying to be a car salesman.
I'm just pulling up my socks just so that they've got a long way to come off.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. And I'm going to mute my microphone so that I can't hear a word you're saying.
Why are you muting your microphone?
I just got it wrong, all right? Okay, didn't come out right.
That means we can't hear you.
We would love you to mute your microphone.
Love it. Oh, well, tell us why we should burn a trade, Brownie. You're really good at that.
So, guys, there's no burning here. Charlie Geimer. Now, 373k, so you already might have a look and be like, might be a bit too risky, but named at edge with Jack Williams. There's no backup edge on the bench whatsoever. That's already a good sign. When Geimer plays 80 minutes at second row, so he's had 7 games at second row. So when he's played at 80 minutes, he averages 49.8. He's currently priced at 30.
Oh, yum. I like that a lot.
What's his runway look like?
Katoga's out till round 13.
Because what was Kartonga's injury again? Remind me.
I don't know, something with his knee, wasn't it?
High grade MCL sprain, partial to complete ligament tear. So 6 weeks.
Geimer's prone to a missed tackle, 12, 5, 2, and 3. 5 average in this range. Well, he also tackles 47 average. So
yeah, I was going to say he's kind of in that money.
22 break even, guys.
Oh man, do I buy him? Does he play hooker by any chance?
No, just another cheap edge.
So he does have Bulldogs next, then Sea Eagles, Warriors, Cowboys, Storm before a round 12 bye.
Oh, this might be cashy of the week.
Yeah, could well be. I like this one way more than Garner.
Imagine if he pops off for a 50 this week. His break even goes down to single digits. He's still got a 4 to 5 week window. Like obviously the round 12 bye. Katoga might be back round 13. He may not. Just mass earning potential.
Do you have any more to add there that might deter me from buying him?
I think
he plays for the Eels, who you don't really like.
Okay, yeah, he's a sell.
But it gives you the ability now to enjoy watching an Eels game because you have a player in there. So
yeah, I still don't think I'd enjoy it.
No, yeah. Sorry, Sean. They're a great team. So it's all good.
Sorry, Sean.
Lies to our fans now.
No, I just like Sean.
Yeah, Sean's. Why did I pick him out of all the Eels fans? I chose to spray the nice guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's what you do, though.
Yeah, I'm the bully. I'll move into Jack Williams, guys, pod by. We've already kind of touched on the interest area in him. He's had increased minutes ever since all of these injuries have impacted the squad. It seems to only be getting worse, and now he's moved to edge. He's going to be playing 80 minutes, as Browny alluded to with Charlie Geimer. There's no edge on the field. On the... Well, you could probably argue there's nobody on the field when the Eels play at the moment.
Wow.
There's no edge on the bench. So I think he plays 80 minutes and he actually scores very well from edge and has more attacking upside from that position. So, again, he's a great pod buy, but the Charlie Geimer narrative kind of shoots that in the foot. I would much rather go that direction right now than jump into Jack Williams. Are you guys kind of on the same page?
Yeah.
Great. We finally get to go to the last team, the Bulldogs. Jai is on Karaz watch. He's lost a lot of cash already. Jumping out now secures that loss. And as a non-owner myself, he is someone I'm buying into at the floor. So I think he's centre wing fullback DPP. So is Anari Tuala. If you buy into Anari Tuala and you keep a hold of Jacob Karaz, you've got round 12 basically secured. Yeah. Tom Chester in the mix, Herbie Farnworth in the mix. Now you only need one more player. Hello, James Tedesco. So I don't think there is a reason to get rid of Karaz. Every week he's getting more healthy and more healthy and more healthy. The Bulldogs are just hit some great form and they're coming up to the Eels this week. I think Jacob Karaz is not a sell target right now. He's a hold, but I understand how painful it is because he's given 2025 Ponga vibes. So how do you guys kind of see him?
It's been a painful hold. It's lost me, I think, and Browny. We bought the same week, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. So essentially lost 100K, and it also burned our cash in the bank that we then didn't have the same ability to be able to kind of make other moves like we've been watching Jai do when we were all sitting at the exact same position. And Jai couldn't quite get to Karaz, and it actually helped him.
Yeah, and I was so sad, but I was like, here they go. They're going to take over me now.
So it has been a pretty hard hold, but I'm kind of more in that hold position, probably more than Brownie. I think Brownie's holding on by one finger, and I don't need to tell you which finger. And and basically he's pretty ready to burn him next round. Am I right, Brownie?
Surprise. Brownie wants to Have we convinced you another way yet, Brownie?
No. Yeah.
He's like, no, straight away. He's like, shut up, boys. I'm selling him.
He's got 1 week left for me. If he doesn't turn it around, catch ya.
I love hearing that because I'm going to have the biggest advantage when I buy in. Nah, I don't hate it. You know, I had this same opinion last year with Ponga. No, he'll come good. And went from 700K.
Well, it is giving me Ponga vibes.
Big time. He's playing injured. It's hard to justify holding. So, yeah, I understand if people want to get out. And there's nothing saying just because I want to buy in at the floor that it's going to be great from there on out. It's like, no, I could just be wasting a trade on something that you guys have got out of too. Could very easily flip. So I understand why Brownie wants to sell. I just love getting into him about his trading. So, Brownie, Thompson watch.
Yeah, I think
the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think King being out, I don't know. I like Leo Thompson as a player. Are we going to see like a more and improved Leo Thompson at the Dogs than he was at the Knights? Yeah. Possibly. It's just going to be the minutes that are going to be the big factor for me that I really want to see. I want to see like a 50-55 minute Leo Thompson putting up near a 1 ppm. That's what I want to see.
Needs a watch. I think to me it screams Brendan Smith here. in that he's had a calf strain, which means that he's probably been very limited in terms of what kind of like cardiovascular fitness he would have been able to commit to. Now he's back. He's got no match fitness. It's going to take a bit of time, but that only justifies the watch. Hopefully he comes in at a cheaper price.
And is a great watch for round 12, 13.
Last one, halves, watch, avoid, Kenty.
Yeah. So there's just so much talk about Galvin and Burton. And I think a lot of it is because people are looking for round 12, 13 halves. And so that is very much a kind of big pull. And ultimately, both of them aren't playing badly. They've got mid 50 plus rolling average and essentially have looked to keep getting better and better. The part that I get worried about is that it's similar to Drinkwater. The two of them have the opportunity to keep going or they're going to fail again. And we only have to look at last year when Jai brought Burton. He was going to be his team's saviour, crashed and burned.
Interesting. Now I'm getting bullied again. Now mate, I will buy Burton now just to...
And the reality is that it happens. Particularly with these two boys. They show pockets of promise. Galvin's made 76k on the year so far. Burton's made 100. It's almost exactly what we saw last year. They start showing these great kind of pockets. They get injuries, which they're starting to get again, and then they start playing around with their positioning. They panic, and then they start playing poorly.
Yeah.
So that's my concern. So I have them as a watch right now to basically kind of give them a 4-week test. Yeah, I wouldn't be jumping on now where a lot of coaches who have been talking to me are very, very keen to get them.
I think it's a classic case of don't overthink it. There's two guys in the halves that job share.
Yeah.
They're always going to eat each other's stuff. Don't touch them unless one of them gets injured and the other one becomes prominent. That's the only other reason I dive in. But that's it, boys. We broke down the team list. It took a hell of a long time to get there. I actually thought this was going to make the podcast shorter. It didn't work. So I'll find another way to improve it. But I do have an announcement to make. Our mini footies are not pumped up. So this isn't actually how they'll come when you pump them up. You know, they'll look a bit better. But Blindside colours, Blindside branding. We'll be taking these to Magic Round and giving them out for free. So nothing you can buy. To come and meet me and Browny. We would love it to be Kenty, but he's just dogged the boys and decided to come and meet.
Oh, finally.
Not like it's easy to fly from New Zealand to Queensland for the boys while you've got kids and a job, but I expected more from you. You're fired. But no, come and meet us at Magic Round, guys. I've got 50 of these to give away, so it would be cool to meet some of you and give you some balls. Footballs, mini footballs, Blindside branded. Anyway, moving into the last segment, guys. Kenty's market move strategy take and Brownie's tips. We might go with you first here, Kenty, because Brownie's popped a gasket over there. So your strategy through this round, I think, again, it's the same as last week. We made it pretty clear. So you're the wizard here with strategy. How are you seeing it?
Yeah, it's still very similar. Make sure that you are already starting to think through and prep towards Origin. That doesn't mean that you're buying exclusively Origin players right now. That's still too early for that and is likely to burn you and burn your team. But I think definitely keep that in mind. Keep a really good, solid watch list and keep an eye on that. So yes, in games, I'm watching my own players who are scoring because, that's what we watch. But ultimately, I'm also kind of analysing other players as well and noting them down, figuring out how they're scoring, what their their base is like, what happens in blowout games, what happens when they get smashed, how they're playing. So, for example, Tuala had been a player I've been watching for a couple of weeks, watching his base and how he was playing against teams when they were being beaten, and then how did he play and score also when they beat the Panthers, and basically he's the same both ways. So he was a player that I was very, very interested in and jumped on last week. And then I had also already scoped out what he was going to be like over Origin, and it fitted. So basically what I'm trying to do now is as much as possible, I'm trying to make sure that players are going to fit my Origin plans. But I'm not exclusively buying Origin players. So I think that's the kind of key thing to keep looking at. And then also making sure that you aren't just burning trades chasing. So don't chase right now. It's the wrong thing to do. We chase in the first kind of 6 weeks for those right players to keep earning us cash. Don't chase that now. You definitely still want cash to be prominent in your team right now, but you're going to use up too many trades if you're jumping on every single cash generator. And this round is absolutely full of cash generation. And so you could end up blowing up your trades if you go after that too hard.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Hey, there has to be a time where coaches realize it's time to slow down on the trades, because if you don't do it, you'll lose. There's no other way around it. So slow down a little bit now. Rely on the cash generation you've already made. Try and prepare for Origin. Save your trades over Origin so you can use as many as possible in the run home. And I say that with complete awareness that Brownie's not going to listen. He's still going to trade when he wants to trade. But tips of the week, Brownie. Read them out to us.
So, you ready?
I'm ready, baby.
Cows, Seagulls. Going Cowboys. I think they're in red hot form. Proving they can do the job. Raiders, Storm. I'm putting it out there. We are not losing 5 in a row. Not happening. Not happening. Right? But if we do, there is a silver lining. In 2012, we lost 5 in a row, and guess what happened? We went on to win the premiership. So, suck eggs.
Oh.
No, I think after last week, what Bellamy would have done at training and what would have happened, the talks around the club, everything like that, I think the Storm, they're not going to be back to 100%, but they're going to kind of work it back into that trajectory. I think that's what's going to happen. So,
I've got the Storm as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Storm. Dolphins, Panthers. I think Panthers bounce back very heavily. I think last week was probably a bit of an embarrassment to them, and I think they're going to come out firing. So I'm going to go Penrith. Wars, Titans. I think you just got to go Wars at home. They're a different beast. So yeah, I'm definitely going Wars. Rabbits, Dragons. Going Rabbitohs. Even though Fallout, couple injuries, I think Rabbits still get up. Yeah. Tigers, Broncos. I'm going to go Tigers. I think Broncos are still missing out way too much. Reynolds probably won't even be 100%, but even if they play him, good luck. But yeah, I'm going Tigers. Roosters, Knights. I think Roosters. I think they showed a lot of promise last week, and I think they'll keep that on track. So I'm going to go them. And then Eels, Doggies, pretty easy. I'm going to go Doggies. I think this is kind of one of the easiest tipping weeks, I think.
Yeah. So then where's the upset?
Yeah, exactly. I've thought this already this year, and it's gone like a 8 or something.
Yeah. I still wonder if the upset could actually be Sea Eagles.
Yeah, Cow Seagulls. I was going to say.
Yeah, I kind of bounced around between those two, and I could see the Eagles getting up there. What was your margin that you have chucked on for Roosters, Knights?
Roosters, Knights, I reckon.
I did 14.
I reckon 12 Roosters.
Yeah. I've gone 10.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
That's
a bit closer.
That's good. Like that.
On the same page, Phils. Well, that's it, boys. We're wrapping up. What a short podcast. That was nice and quick. I loved that.
It was good.
Day.
I just hope my kids are still alive over the last 2 hours.
And now I've got about 4 hours of editing to do. So I'm motivated to get this podcast down, and I don't know. It's too hard. Once I get talking to my boys, I just want to get talking.
Catch up.
Yeah. So follow Kenty's Market Move, follow Brownie's Breakdown, follow Blindside NRL. Whack all your questions in the comments. We'll try and get to as many as possible before kickoff. And we'll see you on the next one. But there's one thing I want to leave you boys with. There's only one thing you can't be guaranteed in either of your teams this week, and it's 2 points. Sharkies, baby, get the bye, so we get a win this week. If you guys lose, we just start climbing above you on the ladder.
Bro, I like how you do this when you lost last week. So did Brownie. I'm the only winner from last week, and I am not coming at you, but yet you still need to come at us.
I can't help myself. I've got to buy the first bullet. The only one wearing a real jersey, by the way. The most loyal fan here today.
Mate, my boys wear this every game. Don't you worry.
They do.
This is just the travel polo, so they wear this when
they wear that too. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Maybe they should sign you, Brownie, and you could play for Joe Chan. Probably score better in fantasy too.
Yeah, it'd probably last all but 5 minutes.
All right, boys. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing another big slog. Man, thanks for listening too, coaches. We'll see you on the next one.
Chew up the wires.
Stop the storm, please.